Just look at this little boy. This is 20-month-old Quinton Simon, who was allegedly murdered by his mother, Leilani Simon, and thrown in the trash. So this case absolutely comes with a trigger warning. It's very upsetting. It's obviously involving the death of a child who's so small, and just look at him. So I'm going to recap the entire case for you today, the whole timeline, so that you are ready for Leilani Simon's trial, which starts with opening statements on October 14th of 2024. The jury's already been selected, and initially the judge said there would be no cameras in the courtroom. However, she is now allowing cameras, and I will be covering this trial. So make sure that you are subscribed with your notifications on so that you don't miss the trial coverage. And if you can't catch it live, then hopefully you'll catch the replays, which will be, of course, time-stamped for you. The way that I cover trials is usually, I call it defluffed or abbreviated, which means I always start later than the live court feeds so that we can just skip over coffee breaks and lunch breaks and things like that. So it's also really great for replay viewers. So let's get into the details of the case. Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Twenty-month-old Quinton Simon was reported missing on October 5th of 2022 in the area of Buckhalter Road and Gerard in Chatham County, Savannah, Georgia. He was last seen wearing a light blue Sesame Street shirt with black shorts or bottoms. After a 6-week search for him and with the help of the FBI, on November 18th of 2022, his partial skeletal remains were found in a Chatham County landfill. Like, how sad is that? His mother, she was actually 22 years old at the time, but 24-year-old now, Leilani Simon, she was then already named the prime suspect in his disappearance, and already on October 13th of 2022, which at the time, when we were watching all the press conferences and all the updates together, we were shocked that so soon she was named the prime suspect. So yeah, we already knew something wasn't right about this case. Now, Leilani was actually arrested on November 21st of 2022, and she was charged with the murder of her missing toddler, as well as concealing the death of another, false statements or writings to conceal facts or fraudulent documents in matters of government, and false report of a crime, because of course there was a 911 call made. So this is Leilani Simon, and in 2022, she was 22 years old and the mother of 3 children, a 9-month-old girl, a 20-month-old Quinton Simon, and she also had a 4-year-old son. She was arrested on November 21st of 2022, and she's been in the Chatham County jail ever since and has been held on no bond. She's facing a 19-count indictment, which we have been over before, so just check the playlist if you want to go over that again. And it includes 1 count of malice murder, 2 counts of felony murder, and 1 count of concealment of the death of another. And of course, lying to law enforcement. And I mean a lot. She lied to the FBI and to the police and all of that. So here she is, 22 years old, and she had 3 children from 3 different dads. 4-year-old Z's dad is Cody Wharton. So I'm wondering if these dads will take the stand. I would think so. And then 20-month-old Quinton's dad is Henry Bubba Moss. And then the 9-month-old girl's dad is Danny Youngkin, who's the guy who was her current boyfriend, also living in the house. Now, she made an interesting statement to one of her friends. She said, maybe if I didn't have Quinton, I'd still have Bubba. To me, that sounds like someone who's longing for her ex-boyfriend. And so therefore, let's have a look at how Henry Bubba Moss describes Leilani Simon. So he's Quinton's biological father. He was 24 years old in 2022, and he lived at the time 85 miles away in Gerard, Georgia. Leilani actually tried to pin Quinton's disappearance on him, making as if he abducted Quinton, saying, well, no one else would know how to come into the house. It's him. And as we'll read further now, it's not the first time she's pinning her crimes on him. So he says that he met Leilani at a swimming hole in 2019, and then she became pregnant with Quinton in 2020, but she kept it a secret from him for many months. Then she went to Alabama to give birth to Quinton in January of 2021, so Bubba's name wasn't on the original birth certificate. She then returned home. I've also seen it mentioned that he had encouraged her to terminate the pregnancy and she did not want to, which is very sad to think that at that time she was fighting for Quinton, but later, and he was only 20 months old, allegedly murdered him. I mean, wow. Okay. So they broke up when Leilani pinned a burglary that she committed on him in February of 2021. And Leilani had allegedly cut her way through a screen window and stole $50 from a coin jar. You might ask yourself why. She was abusing substances and she wanted to get money any way she could. She stole a lot, apparently, and so that's what she did then. And so she actually blamed it on Henry Bubba Moss. He was very pissed off about that. And so he describes Leilani as a cheater, a liar, and someone who spent her days snorting coke and also smoking MJ. He says all she cared about was doing coke all day, every day. He alleges that Leilani had a violent temper and would physically assault him when she wanted more drugs. She slept with other men to get money for drugs, according to him. Police and the FBI initially questioned him about Quinton's disappearance, of course, because Leilani had said, well, he abducted Quinton. So they had to, of course. But CCTV footage, his work, and other evidence cleared him. They took a DNA test and they confirmed that he was the father of Quinton Simon, which up to that point he wasn't 100% sure that he was. Now, when he was in Savannah, Georgia at the time of Quinton's disappearance, he decided to go to the house where Leilani stayed with her mother, and he went to see them, and he said they were high as a kite and drunk as hell. He said she wasn't crying when I walked up. She was laughing and having a good time with everybody. It looked like a party. Now, if you were there during the live coverage of this case, oh my goodness, that really got to all of us because Leilani was having a great time. She was partying it up instead of searching for her son. And yet there were people, searching landfills day in and day out for hours and hours and hours a day. And she was just drinking, smoking, doing whatever. So when Henry was asked to describe his son, he said he was happy, always smiling. He really didn't scream a lot. He was a good baby. And I mean, just look how cute he is. Oh my goodness. So let's look at the home where the crime allegedly occurred and let's see who was living in the home at the time. So this was on Buckhalter Road in Savannah, Georgia. I'm sure if you remember, you've seen this house quite a bit. There were protesters outside the house for quite some time as well. And, cameras monitoring the house from the media as well for quite some time. So in the home was Quinton Simon, his mother, Leilani, her boyfriend, Daniel Youngkin, and then his older brother, Z, and infant sister. That's who was in the home at the time that he disappeared. Now, Billy Joe Hell is Leilani's mother, right? And it was actually her home that Leilani and Danny was staying in. But at the time, she wasn't there because she was on a business trip. And she was married to Thomas Howell, which would be Leilani's stepdad. And then, here and there, Leilani's brother also came over to stay. So that's generally who was in the home. Also, there's another brother that Leilani has. So another one of Billy Joe Howell's sons, who actually was convicted of murdering a man. I believe it was in 2011, and they're in prison for that.
She's lied to us so many times, and I don't know, it's just bad to say, but she just likes to lie.
Okay, so it looks like a beautiful home. It was actually put on the market in January of 2024, and Billy Joe had said this was supposed to be their forever home, where they're gonna raise the grandkids and everything, and it really didn't work out that way. Now, another important person in this case is the babysitter, and the judge has ruled that her testimony is allowed in. Thank goodness, because of course the defense did not want her testimony in, and we're going to see why. Now, Quinton and his brother had a babysitter whose home they were dropped off every day for about 6 months before Quinton went missing. I do not know if the infant daughter was ever dropped off there. They always really just talked about the 2 boys being dropped off there. So, I mean, as I say, it was an infant daughter, so maybe in the last few months or so, all 3 were dropped off. But her name is Diana McCarter, and it seemed like she truly loved these kids as her own. I mean, she did also have her own kids, and she lived just down the road from Billy Joe and Leilani, but she took care of them every day, for months. And she didn't get paid all that much either. Now, she got a text at 5:29 a.m. on October 5th of 2022 saying that she would not be babysitting the kids that day. And she found that text very strange because she said even if Leilani wasn't working, no matter what was going on at the house, she would be looking after the kids. Now, at 9 a.m., she actually got another text asking if she had seen Quinton. She then offered to go to the house to help them look, saying, well, we got to look in the cupboards. We got to look, behind, let's say, the washing machine or wherever. Just look all over the place because it's a tiny boy. And they didn't want that. Leilani and Danny did not want her to come over. So that's interesting as well. Now, she said that she had once found the kids at the pool, the 2 boys, unsupervised. And she says a lot of people called CPS about Leilani because some people say, well, why didn't you call CPS? Why didn't you call the police? And she said a lot of people had raised a lot of concern about Leilani's parenting. If you're just listening, that's in air quotes. So I might say lack of parenting, neglect. Leilani told her that her older son was her favorite, that was the 4-year-old, and that she didn't bond with Quinton at all. So this is all very sad because we can see, what happened to Quinton.
I have been keeping Quinton and Zane for 6 months. I kept them yesterday, and they went home last night.
Diana McCarter says she babysits little Quinton and his siblings and was supposed to watch them this morning. She says she was confused as to why plans would change so suddenly.
I got a text this morning saying that they would not be here. I would not be babysitting them at 5:29, which was kind of odd because I have them even when she doesn't work.
30 minutes later, 6 a.m. was the last reported sighting of Quinton, according to police. Diana says other family members asked her where Quinton might be.
And then I get a text at 9 o'clock saying, have I seen Quinton? I immediately go to their house. I try to help them look. They didn't want that. So I've just been waiting around like everybody else.
Diana and other neighbors are shocked by the news and wonder what could have happened to little Quinton.
My heart is broken. I'm not his mother, I'm not his family, but I love him very much. And I just don't know what could happen. The police did a really good job of looking, and where does a 1-year-old go? They've covered a lot of ground.
Okay, so now we're going to go over some events from September of 2022, right? So September 8th of 2022, Billy Joe Howell wants her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend to move out of her home. Billy, the grandmother, has full legal custody of Leilani's kids. So Billy is obviously Leilani's mother, so it would be the kids, Leilani's children's grandmother. She actually filed for eviction on September 16th. And Leilani and Danny found out about the eviction, but they didn't want to leave. And here's a huge red flag. On Wednesday, October 5th of 2022, that's the day that Quinton went missing, Leilani hears that she's lost a child support battle. She was due to be charged $150 a month starting November 1st, and the amount would be lowered if one of her 2 sons died. She was also on probation for theft at the time of Quinton's death, which was that other theft we discussed before. So if you want to pause to read what's on the screen there, you can. We have already read that before. I just wanted to include this in case you've never seen it. Okay, so now we go to October 4th of 2022. Pictured on the right is Leilani and her boyfriend, Danny Youngkin, the father of her youngest child, the little girl. Prosecutors allege that Leilani got into a fight with her boyfriend, Danny Youngkin. Billy, the grandmother, was out of town on a business trip at the time. So remember, it was these two and the 3 kids in the home at the time. So apparently Leilani left her home in the middle of the night to meet up with her drug dealer. She told the police that she only used MJ, but prosecutors said she was under the influence of MJ, Coke, and Percocet that night. In the past, when they had fought, Leilani had apparently made a video, which was in August of 2022, for her family, implying that she was going to take her own life. Prosecutors allege that she was upset with Danny that night and feared that he did not love her anymore. Police interviews of Leilani, shown in a motions hearing that happened recently, showed her saying, "It's almost like blackout drinking. The light is on, but nobody's home." And she's talking about when she's high, right? The state believes that Leilani attacked Quinton that night because of her state of mind that night, like the fight, obviously the drugs, her mother wasn't in the home. It sounds to me like she took everything out on little Quinton Simon. So now we go to October 5th of 2022. So at 5:29 a.m., the babysitter got a text from Leilani's phone saying that she won't be babysitting that day. It was later revealed that it was actually Danny Youngkin, Leilani's boyfriend, that had sent the text message. I hope we'll be able to clarify some more of these details during the trial. I'm sure we will. Because that at the time was a little bit of a gray area of like who really sent the text, right? Now at 6 a.m., Danny says he left for work and he says he saw Quinton in his playpen. Still really wonder about that based on the timeline. Okay, we'll see. He hasn't been charged with anything. Then at 9 a.m., Danny texted Diana, the babysitter, to ask if she had seen Quinton. There are other reports that say it was actually Billy Joe Hell, who wasn't at home at the time, who texted Diana to ask if she had seen Quinton. But most of the reports say that it was Danny that texted to say, "Hey, have you seen Quinton?" Which, again, the babysitter found weird because she's like, "No, you just told me this morning, 5:29 a.m. that I'm not going to be babysitting. So why would I have, right?" Now at 9:42 a.m., a 911 call is made to report Quinton missing.
38:37 seconds, October 5, 2022. Emergency.
Yeah, I need to come past 5 Buck Halter Road. We believe the current is getting out.
535 Buck Halter?
Yes.
You said someone's been kidnapped?
Yeah.
I woke up and the front door is open and his playpen is empty, please. You have 1-year-old son? Yes. When was the last time you seen him?
I saw him this morning when I left at 6.
Okay, have you guys gone outside to check the area?
Yes.
How old is he?
And he can't open the door.
So you think someone broke in? Have there been any signs of breaking in?
No. No breaking in, the door was open.
Was it unlocked?
Yeah, but the front door had bolts though, but yeah, it was.
No, I can't find him nowhere. I was in the house everywhere. He's just scared shopping everywhere. Okay. Give me a description of him. Give me a description.
He's blue eyes, like
He's got blue-green eyes, tan skin, dark hair. He's what now? He's got tan skin, dark brown hair. His eyes are like a brown green hazel. Okay. And he's black, white, Hispanic. He's Hawaiian. He's what now? Hawaiian. Hawaiian? Yes.
he can't even open doors.
Yeah, I left for work at 6 o'clock. She called me at 9 o'clock. And the front door was open like I said, he's gone.
I can't find it.
And she said about 2 weeks ago, she told us that she seen a car sitting out front about 2 weeks ago.
Leilani claimed that she slept until around 9:30 and then she noticed that Quinton was missing. She said that she felt that he was abducted, and she even blamed Quinton's biological father, Henry Moss, for abducting him. They told me, Leilani said, I came and got him overnight, Henry said. He said he'd not heard from Leilani for 6 to 7 months. He met her in 2019 as we went over, and she became pregnant with Quinton in 2020. She's a terrible person, and she's going to jail or hell. She's evil. She shouldn't be out here in society. He also said if she didn't want him, she could have told me. I would have come and got him.
I'm Diana McCartan. I used to babysit Quinton.
Tell me about him.
He's precious. He's smart and loving and just cute as a button. That I would not be keeping Quinton. That Leilani would be keeping him.
What time?
Around 5:29.
And then, when did you find out something was wrong?
I got up to go get food for my girls before I left for work. I got a text from Danny asking me had I seen Quinton, and I said no, and I instantly called him, and he said that Quinton was missing.
What's your first thought?
I jumped in the truck, me and my daughter, and we went over there to help him look.
And what did they say?
They were standing there, and I
This
said,
was they is Leilani
Danny
and
and Leilani. And I said, well, he's little. He hides in closets at the house. I said, he's somewhere in your house. And I asked, could we help him look? And they did not want us to look.
So, still on October 5th of 2022, there's some pictures of the potential dumpster that Leilani visited. So if we look at these screenshots from the indictment, it says, and the jurors aforesaid, in the name of and behalf of the citizens of the state of Georgia, further charge and accuse Leilani Marie Simon with the offense of felony murder, for that the said Leilani Marie Simon in the county of Chatham and state of Georgia, on or about the 5th day of October of 2022, did commit the offense of aggravated assault in violation of that code, a felony, in that the accused did make an assault upon the person of her son, Quinton Simon, with an object that when used offensively against a person did result in serious bodily injury, the nature of the object being unknown to the grand jury at this time, and the accused did in the commission of this offense cause Quinton's death, contrary to the laws of the state of Georgia, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Now, we don't know the details yet of exactly how Quinton was murdered, so brace yourself, because we might find that out in the trial. Then the next, one of the other counts is concealing the death of another. And they say, again, the same beginning there, Leilani Marie Simon, right, with the offense of concealing the death of another, that for the said Leilani Marie Simon in the county of Chatham in the state of Georgia, on or about the 5th of October of 2022, did unlawfully conceal the death of her son, Quinton Simon, by discarding him in a dumpster at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, which hindered the discovery of whether Quinton was unlawfully killed, contrary to the laws of the state of Georgia, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Leilani made false statements to the FBI and to the police about meeting up with her friend Misty. I wonder if that friend is going to take the stand and if their name is even Misty. Anyway, so at a Chevron service station to get Oragel, a topical pain reliever, when she had actually traveled to this Azalea Mobile Home Plaza to throw baby Quinton in a dumpster. She later told the police that she had been there, but she was just discarding normal household garbage. Imagine referring to your son that way. Now, firstly, imagine throwing a child in a dumpster. Like, who does that? It's unthinkable. But then also to say, no, okay, I was there, but it was just normal household garbage. And then her next excuse was, actually, it wasn't even me that was there. It was Danny. Yeah, he was the one that was there. So she will throw anyone under the bus at any time. You know, even her current boyfriend, Danny, she blamed it on him. So on October 10th of 2022, The Chatham County PD held a press conference. There were multiple press conferences in this case. They really kept the public informed and did such a great job. And they said the case was now a criminal investigation. Searches were conducted at the home. The backyard pool was drained and ponds were drained as well. I remember all of us going, oh my word, they've drained the backyard pool. And at that time, the babysitter said, oh no, he's probably drowned in the pool. And then Billy Joe, the grandmother, was also like, oh man, he drowned in a bathtub. And we were all like, what is going on? Like, what is happening in this case, right? So that all happened. Then the house was prepared for forensic and luminol testing. There were 40 FBI agents assisting in the search for Quinton. On October 11th of 2022, Chatham County Police issued a statement saying that they have seized evidence that they believe will lead to closure in the investigation. On October 12th of 2022, the Chatham County Police Department said, we are saddened to report that CCPD and the FBI have notified Quinton Simon's family that we believe he is deceased. We have named his mother, Leilani Simon, as the prime suspect in his disappearance and death, but no arrests have been made and no charges have been filed. Now on the right-hand side, I'll show you that clip where Billy Joe had been fighting with the babysitter that was caught on camera, blaming her for taking Quinton.
Don't put nothing in your yard. Go ahead. This is my baby, not yours. That's your right, but I text my baby. I text you and I told you what was going on. Oh, so now it's my fault. You didn't go get it.
Y'all need to get off the property.
I text you. I got you. I asked you over and over. I got the text. Over and over I asked you. So you want to blame me? I don't care about your text. You think I'm going to hit you at me? Do you think I would do that? Yeah. Really? Because you. I'm what?
No one likes
I'm
y'all.
what? I'm what? No, I don't blame nobody. I should not have been out of town. Yeah, you did. You shouldn't have. No, I'm trying to provide. The ditch. I was trying to provide. I told you. I was trying to provide. I even provided for you. You didn't. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I didn't pay for your family. Your entire family. I didn't ask you. Your entire family. Keep recording.
Don't take my phone.
Keep recording.
Don't take my phone.
Good, you were wrong. You were wrong. I begged you to help. I begged you to help. Put that on social media. I begged you to help. Oh yeah, and I begged you to help. I said, hey Michelle, please get the kids. You're a liar. Take them. I'll give you 300 a week. I'm about to put it all over. I'm a liar. I'm about to put it all over. Good. Good, because you're awful to say you're going to put a memorial. My baby's not dead. You are a liar. My baby's not dead. My baby's not dead. You're a liar. You're a liar. No, you are. You are. My baby's not dead. I thought you was a woman of God. That. I thought you were a woman of God. You got Quinton? Do you have Quinton? I don't have Quinton. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. You got him. Okay. You got him.
So after October 12th, when the police then had announced that they believe Quinton is deceased, then Billy Joe had put out, I think it was a Facebook message that somebody had shared, and she said, Quinton has passed. He's in a landfill, and my daughter's done it. She has no memory of it. So that became interesting. We were like, what? Then on October 18th of 2022, the police and the FBI said that Quinton's remains were placed in a dumpster and taken to a nearby landfill. On October 19th of 2022, Leilani and her mom went to drink or party at Stingray's, a beach bar in Tybee Island. And that was so devastating because just think of the announcements in the days leading up to that. And they went there having Patron shots, flirting with the waiters, partying it up, causing a lot of drama. And I mean, the contrast of that behavior while, they were searching the landfill for a little boy's remains, that was devastating.
We want justice for Quinton, just like everybody else.
As investigators wrapped up their first official day of searching at this Chatham County landfill, Quinton's mother, Leilani, and grandmother, Billy Joe Howell, were spotted miles away on Tybee Island. The host of a popular bar and restaurant tells me they were taking shots at their establishment and being, quote, very loud. This just hours after police announced they believe Quinton's body was thrown away like trash.
We believe that he was placed in a specific dumpster at a specific location, and it was brought here by regular means of disposal.
The mother and daughter were spotted again Wednesday morning at a Tybee Island motel. Police confirmed with WJCL they were called to Sandcastle Inn twice over people, quote, exercising their First Amendment rights and shouting at the motel. They say no arrests were made and no police report was filed, but a woman who identified herself as Billy Joe told officers she would be leaving and wouldn't come back. When we were there at around 1 in the afternoon, there was no sign of the two. But police don't believe Leilani's a flight risk.
So on October 22nd of 2022, there were protesters, including YouTubers, who were arrested outside Billy Joe Howell's home. On October 24th of 2022, Leilani and her mother were actually interviewed by WTOC, and my goodness. Get your snarky pants on.
Kids woke up to me screaming, "Where's Quinton?" and running through the house. I ran and looked everywhere, inside, outside, just started screaming for help. I'm here, I've been here every day since this. I am not running and I'm not hiding. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to that police station.
And I will walk with her.
All we want is justice for Quinton Simon.
That's it.
We want justice for Quinton.
At whatever cost it is. We don't care the cost.
We want answers just like everybody else does. At the end of it all, we love you, baby Q. My little monkey, and we want him home. We're in limbo. We're in limbo just like everybody else is. We're sitting here every day waiting for answers. Being in this house is hard. My mother and I can't even stay inside throughout the day. We always are outside because there's just so many memories that we don't know if we're going to have again. You wake up every day angry, hoping that you're going to get a phone call, and that phone call just doesn't come. Hard to even process what's going on around us. If we get to the point that we have to barricade our own home in order to feel safe in our backyard. Because we can't even process what's happening everywhere else, or even have the time to do so. I can't even walk out and appreciate my own son's memorial, or put down the gifts that I got for him. I can't even go out there and do that without harassment and negligence and just everything. It's just devastating to see that this is how the outside world reacts. Every day that goes by is less tears and more anger, not knowing what's happening, if that's even understandable. You wake up every day angry, hoping that you're going to get a phone call, and that phone call just doesn't come.
We want something great to come out of this, but mostly we want him not to be found in that landfill. We want him found
happy and alive. We want him back in our arms, holding us. That's what we want. We're just hoping that he's in somebody's house and they're feeding him, and they are hoping that, you know, maybe they wanted a baby or couldn't have a baby. Maybe they thought they were his savior. But it's not. That's their best hopes at this point.
On November 10th of 2022, the search at the landfill was suspended due to Hurricane Nicole, and it resumed again on November 14th of 2022. I mean, those guys and ladies worked so hard at that landfill, looking through all of that just for any partial remains of a little boy. I mean, that's tough. On November 18th of 2022, Diana the babysitter hosted a candlelight vigil in Quinton's honor.
Diana McCarta was Quinton Simon's babysitter for 10 months.
We think about him every day. We pray for him.
But since October 5th, when Quinton disappeared, it's not been the same.
It's been really hard to come outside and look that way and not see Quinton.
Friday night, McCarta and 3 others, heartbroken over Quinton, invited the community to a candlelight vigil.
I feel like that Quinton deserves this. I feel like that he deserves to have something done in his name. And it's always good when you can get together and pray. For Jesus Christ's name we pray these things. Amen. Amen.
The crowd of a couple dozen gathered just feet from where Quinton was last seen. While police weren't stationed for the vigil, they were seen lurking near the group. There's no wonder why. The last 44 days have been difficult for everyone living on Buckhalter Road.
We've been through things. I just think that it's awesome that so many people still have love in their hearts and they can come together and show love for Quinton the way they are.
10 miles away, FBI experts wrapped up another week searching for Quinton's remains in a landfill. Police Chief Jeff Hadley told county commissioners Friday that they would continue scouring the dump until at least December 9th. In the meantime, those at the vigil are praying for answers.
Possible human remains were then found at the landfill. Now let's look at November 2022, because they said a few weeks before Leilani was arrested, she'd actually checked herself into a rehab facility or treatment center. I do remember at one of the press conferences, they asked, the media asked, where is Leilani right now? And the chief said, we're not too sure right now. And they were all really worried, like, oh my word, like, where's she gone? She was in a rehab, right? So Billy, her mother, said that she had been in contact with the FBI every day since Quinton's disappearance, and Leilani had been too. Billy heard that Leilani was actually going to check herself out of the rehab, and she made a very difficult decision. Her mother had to make one of the hardest decisions of her life and call the FBI agents and let them know that she was signing herself out and that she could not come back here, and that she was going to be a flight risk because she could not come back here, and she was going to be back on the streets doing God knows what with God knows who, a family friend said. Billy picked Leilani up from the treatment center, and she took her to have her last free meal. She then took Leilani to the Savannah, Georgia FBI office, and there she was questioned and arrested. So I would love to see those police interviews. Hopefully we see some at the trial, and hopefully once the trial is finished, if she gets convicted and sentenced, hopefully we can be able to, FOIA request all of that as well. Now, November 21st of 2022, police arrest Leilani Simon.
Good evening, everybody. Jeff Hadley. I'm the Chief of Police for the Chatham County Police Department. I'm accompanied this evening by Will Clark with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This afternoon, Chatham County Police Department detectives arrested 22-year-old Leilani Simon and charged her with malice murder, concealing the death of another person, false reporting, and making false statements in connection with the disappearance and death of her son, 20-month-old Quinton Simon. We had every belief that Quinton was there in the landfill. Having found what we found on Friday and the preliminary findings from the FBI that we got today led us to make an arrest today. We feel that we have a very strong case. We have put thousands of hours into this, and we believed that this was the right move today to be able to do that. She doesn't deserve a Thanksgiving, quite frankly, if I can go off script a little bit. Quinton deserves that.
There is a mugshot, okay, and you might notice her mother's mugshot as well. Billy Joe was actually arrested on December 10th of 2022. She was found in contempt of court and she was sentenced to 10 days in jail. On November 28th of 2022, partial skeletal remains were confirmed to be Quinton Simon's. And then in January 27th of 2023, the state actually subpoenaed dental records from Aspen Dental for Leilani Simon, which the records were from October 1st of 2022 to October 5th. So that was interesting in the sense that why would they want that? And we were all wondering if she had bitten Quinton or the children, or what's that all about? We will probably find out at the trials. They also subpoenaed any journals, diaries, and any other writings of Leilani Simon currently in the possession of her mother, Billy Joe Howell. And Billy did hand those over. So the jury trial starts October 14th of 2024. By the way, the picture on the right is that contrast that I talked about earlier. Leilani partying her ass off while these searchers were digging through all this trash at a landfill looking for a little boy's remains. It's so upsetting. Okay, so after 2 full days of jury selection and motions hearings, the jury was seated on Friday, October 11th of 2024. The jury consists of 12 jurors with 4 alternates and is made up of a wide range of ages. The main panel is 7 men and 5 women. The alternates are 3 men and 1 woman. One person who made it onto the jury works at Waste Management, which runs the landfill where Quinton was found. Another juror is a former school teacher who worked with young kids. That's all I could find so far. The judge is Tammy Stokes, and all evidence is admissible except any regarding the night that Leilani and Billy were out drinking at the Tibby Island bar. So far, everything else is allowed in. I can't wait to see the babysitter take the stand and really represent Quinton Simon, because to me it seemed like she really loved him, and she really took care of the kids. And so I can't wait to see the trial with you. Of course, if you're watching this later, if the trial's already started or ended, then don't worry, you can catch up anytime. I look forward to reading your comments, and I really look forward to seeing justice for Quinton Simon. Thank you so much. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.